am for Biafra restoration. I don't care the group you belong. If you know what you will offer, bring it in. Just like our student Mazin Nanikan. Mazin Nanikan doesn't care about the name you call yourself or the group you belong. The important thing for Mazin Nanikan is fighting for Biafra and making Biafra a reality. That is why he works with every group. He worked with Avid. He worked with Rising Sun. He worked with Ambassadors of Self-Determination and so many other groups. He recognized everybody. He is not imposing IPOB on anybody. Because naturally, originally, we are all members of IPOB. The only place it becomes bad is when you, as an individual, you are denying IPOB. You're an idiot. IPOB is our Anobi. That is whom we are. But some of you, because of your own selfish interest, some of you, because you think that IPOB will make you relevant, some of you, you think that once IPOB gains the fame, he recover his fame that he's known for, that you become irrelevant. You are scared. Because of that, you're preaching against that. But your preaching cannot stand. It cannot make any difference. The supreme leader of IPOB, Mazen Nanikan, has spoken. He has restored IPOB. The reborn of IPOB is real. It's real. It is real. And every one of us, we are IPOB and we will support every instruction that comes from Mazen Nanikan through the HOD, Chris Wogo. Through the new HOD, Chris Wogo. And the new DOS, whatever they say, we are going to abide by it and support it. So whichever mushroom group you are, try as much as possible, continue to do your own part. There is something everybody can contribute. If you know what you can contribute, continue to make a contribution. At the right time, you will be recognized. You will be recognized. Whatever you're doing, have a role to play. Every one of us is important. Nobody is not. Every one of us is important. As long as you are focused on doing what you're supposed to do, you are important. But when you are doing something out of greed, envy, jealousy, because of self-seeking, when you are self-centered, you're just doing to promote yourself, sorry, you will be disappointed and you're going to lose it. You saw the issue of our general, Major General Johnson Aguironsi, that was remembered after so many years. After so many years. That is one of the injustices in Nigeria. The non-recognition, non-proper recognition of Aguironsi is one of the injustices. If Aguironsi was to be another man, Abuja would be named after him. If Aguironsi was to be a northerner, he will be celebrated every year in Nigeria. But they forgot him until Alex Oti came into the picture. And Alex Oti came to remind them that an injustice was done against this man, the first military general, the first military head of state in Nigeria, murdered in cold blood. You honor those that murdered him. You made them billionaires. Those that murdered him are one of the richest people in Nigeria, if not the richest. But you forgot that innocent man. Johnson Aguironsi occupies an important place in Nigerian history, whether you like it or not. He was Nigeria's first military head of state, a senior military officer, a participant in major historical events during turbulent periods. Questions are sometimes raised about whether his contribution have received sufficient public recognition compared with other national figures. You and I know that he has not received such attention. Different historians and commentators hold different views, though. Some argue his legacy deserves greater public attention through historical research, education, and remembrance. That is the right thing to do. But Nigeria, they don't remember heroes. Instead, they remember murderers. They remember those who committed genocide. They remember criminals. That is what Nigeria remember. But they don't remember the actual heroes. They forget them. They throw them to trash. I thank Chukwu Okukame for Alex Oti, who has brought up the issue of Aguironsi and made him to get the actual honor that he deserves. Others knows that assessment of his tenure remain closely connected to debate over the political event of 1966. The 1966 story, you know what it is? You know what transpired in 1966? You know the blackmail of 1960s. It was that blackmail of 1960 that kept Aguirre on the shadow. That is why the case of Aguirre don't want to they don't want to remember him. They don't want somebody to speak about Aguirre because of the lies of 1966. But finally, after all the confessions that is coming that 1966 was not an Igbo coup, 1966 have nothing to do with the Igbos. 1966 was a revolution. Today, finally, Aguirre is remembered. Aguirre is celebrated. I thank Chukwu Okikabema for that. After so many years, it is important encouraging historical scholarships and open discussion can help citizens better understand the complex period of Nigerian history. Aguirre is somebody that needs to be studied. Aguirre is not somebody you're supposed to put under the carpet. Aguirre is not somebody that is supposed to be remembered once in a while. And I thank Chukwu Okikabema that finally he is remembered. And let us watch this short clip that was made in his remembrance. I want us to pay attention to this short clip and see where the governor of Abia State went and paid respect to Aguirre in his grave, and some other national celebration that was done. That is the governor of Abia State.
Laying of wreath for the 60th memorial anniversary of Nigeria's first military head of state, General Johnson Aguiyi-Ironsi, who ruled Nigeria from January 16, 1966 to July 29, 1966. He took over power after a chaotic military coup and only led the country for about 6 months before he was killed in a counter-coup.
Did you hear that? Aguiyi-Ironsi led Nigeria only for 6 months. Only for 6 months. You see, this is the man that we are accusing of bringing unitary system, that he was trying to give dominance. But after only 6 months, he was murdered in cold blood. Did they remove that unitary system? No. They did not remove it. They continue to hold on that unitary system. Till today, as we speak. That thing they accused Aguiyi-Ironsi of is what they are doing. They have been doing that for many years, more than 50 years now. One should have thought, since you don't want the unitary system, you feel that Aguiyi-Ironsi was trying to use the unitary system to dominate it. Why then did you now come and implement that unitary system? Why then are you now holding on to that unitary system? Why then do you now go to war and refuse to remove the unitary system, even when Ojukwu asked for it to be removed? God will never forgive Nigeria. That is why anytime you attach your name to Nigeria, anytime you claim to be a Nigerian, you are bringing curse upon yourself. Anytime you associate your life with Nigeria, you bring curse upon yourself. You bring curse upon yourself. That is why every one of us, we must be very careful what we do, how we do it, and when we do it. We must be very careful. Let us hear.
Gathered here at the International Conference Center in Umuahia are eminent Nigerians from different spheres of life, including a representative of President Bola Tinubu, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, and wife of former President Patience Jonathan. They all described the late military ruler as one who understood that leadership demands sacrifice. Tinubu's representative and Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, says Nigeria would continue to honor and preserve the legacies of the late head of state, who was also a distinguished soldier.
The values of patriotism, discipline, selfless service, integrity, and national unity, which General Aguiyi-Ironsi exemplified, remain as relevant today as they were 60 years ago. These enduring ideals continue to guide our armed forces and inspire all Nigerians who are committed to building a stronger, safer, and more prosperous nation.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo urged citizens to draw lessons that promote unity, inclusion, and national cohesion through the death of the late general who sacrificed his life for the Nigeria we all enjoy today.
Anniversary like that, celebrations like that, occasion like that, should strengthen
Ironsi's younger brother describes him as a destabilized Nigerian who gave all for the good of the nation. He also appreciates Governor Lex Oti for the honor bestowed on the former head of state 60 years on.
We are gathered here not only to mourn, but to remember, to honor, and to rededicate ourselves to the Nigeria believed in.
The Abia State Governor says, though Ironsi died at the young age of 42, he left indelible marks in the sands of time.
The Ironsi gave up his life. That's what happened. If it was about self-interest, in today's world, 80% of the people are interested in self-interest.
Guests at the event, including the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Azubike Hendrika, maintained that Ironsi stood for the unity of Nigeria and stood firm in his decisions for a better country. Nora Okafor, Arise News.
You have seen it. That was the remembrance of Ironsi after 60 good years. Only now, thanks to Oti in United States. I have been speaking about Ironsi most of the time in my program, how he was relegated to the background and forgotten completely. Meanwhile, Nigeria celebrates those that committed genocide against the Biafrans. They rewarded them with oil wells. They gave them important positions in the world. They made them icon in that contract called Nigeria. But the very first head of state, who was innocently murdered in cold blood, never remembered anyway. I thank Oti for making it a point of duty to at least to make Ironsi once again remember. After good 60 years, it is better late. It is better late than never. So at least we can know that all that we've been saying all this while, it is not just falling on empty waters. These people who call themselves politicians, they know the truth, but sometimes they fail to embrace the truth. But at a point in time, we force them to say that which they are supposed to say, even when they don't want to say it. And for what just transpired. And more things are going to happen. More is going to happen. That is why any place you are as a Biafran, stay strong. This is a very difficult time. And whenever it is becoming so tight and difficult, the end is near. Today, it takes extraordinary courage to come and preach Biafra online. More especially because of what our fellow Biafrans are doing, especially the Igbos. Sometimes when you see their activities online, you become ashamed of yourself. You wouldn't even know how to start talking about the issue of Biafra. The way they attack themselves, destroy themselves. But at the same time, every one of us that is genuine, even if it is only one person remaining, stand strong. Biafra is possible. It is here. None of them can stop it. Their propaganda, blackmail, and distraction will never stop it. We will continue until we get to our promised land. I can see my brother, University, you are there. Meet yourself and speak to us. If you are there, University, are you there? On TikTok. My brother, University, are you there on TikTok? If you're free, just unmute yourself and speak to us if you're free.
Yeah, David, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, my brother. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so very much.
You're welcome.
I pick up the mic because I wanted to ask you some few questions if you're willing to answer.
Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, my first question comes from you refer to other Biafran groups as mushroom groups and that they should follow Chris Mugo and everything he says goes. Why do you refer to other Biafran groups as mushroom groups?
Okay, why I refer to other groups as mushroom groups is because of looking at the structure of how we started. I can say we now have so many groups, but we have only one family. And in that family that we have, is IPOB, which every one of us belong to. And when I say IPOB, I'm not talking about limiting it to a group. I still call those who create organization or whatever as a group. Because when the way Mazen Nande cannot address the issue of IPOB and the way he treats it, he doesn't cage it into a particular group where it becomes only people who are registered members of IPOB that has to make add a result to what is happening or participate in the struggle. So using that mushroom groups mainly is for some people who are making themselves much more relevant than others. There are people that make themselves much more relevant than others. They all put their heart and mind on their group, except information that comes from their own group. They will not accept it. Some of them are even preaching against the message of Mazen Nandekano, whom every one of us accept to be the leader of the struggle, regardless the group where you belong. But once he gives order, you will still see the same people going against that very order, preaching different things against what he has said. And why they are doing that is just to make sure they keep the relevance of their group. They feel that maybe when they detach themselves and begin to speak as one body under IPOB of Mazen Nandekano, that they will become irrelevant. But at least we see some people who are still having their own groups and they are still working with Mazen Nandekano. Mazen Nandekano did not tell them to shut down. But they respect every information that comes from Mazen Nandekano and they follow it. So I have problem with those people who are not following the instruction of Mazen Nandekano. They even preach against the IPOB. Some of them, they preach against the IPOB, forgetting that that is the root where every one of us started. That is where we all started. Nobody is telling you not to have a group. Maybe if you can't be able to operate, just like Mazen Samareba said, that if we cannot be able to work together, we can work in our groups where we are working, but focus on that collective effort interest that we have. Focus on that collective interest, which is self-determination of Biafran people. As long as you're focusing on that, you wouldn't be seeing your brother or your sister as a threat. You wouldn't be seeing any group as a threat because every group have what they can offer. Every group has something they can offer. There are something that groups are better than that in the area where you are performing better than others. So why I use that word mushroom group is because of those individuals who feel that wherever they are is much more special than the others. That's why I use that language.
Thank you very much, David. That's very, very, very well explained. You are right. The source of the movement began with the IPOB. And why I asked the question, because you saw what happened when Mazen Nandekano was kidnapped. Yes. And you saw Simon when he was crying and shouting on these people, especially Ejiofor.
Absolutely.
Simon tried to go Ejiofor account, even mentioned on Mazen Nandekano's family that if they are not recognizing the activity of Ejiofor, they must be accomplished. What happened to Mazen Nandekano? And today we've seen when they wrote letters against Mazen Nandekano, even some of the things they have done, we've been trying to clean them. And in cleansing some of these things, they take resources and people are doing it. And since Mazen Nandekano has made a pronouncement about the new DOS, we've been trying very hard to ensure that they understand that we support them, they have everything. But we've not seen any of these people visit any groups to even find out what is going on there. So working together with them is just only on respecting the instruction of Mazen Nandekano on not to be resisting other groups. People should just focus on their group and do what they are doing, because we've placed so much resources in trying to build a Biafran government, because that was the only way we could fight back against Nigeria. And because of that, Simon has been paying the price for that.
Yes.
And David, most of us risk our safety in Nigeria during the time we set up the self-referendum program.
Yes.
Some of us goes into our communities and neighboring communities campaigning for them to vote. And he placed many of our IDs in public. And none of these people from the DOS even try to recognize our effort. And it seems like Biafra was meant for some certain individuals. Even myself, at some point, I was almost beginning to have the feeling probably maybe Biafra was meant for people in the southeast. But when I studied the Asian Biafra, it has nothing to do with such thing, and such thing like southeast and south, they never exist.
Yes.
Even if our people put it in their mouth today and use it as if it's something good, it never existed. And then our people thrived, and our people lived a more glorious life than what we are suffering today under southeast and south. We don't even have ourselves again because of that particular thing. Now, we have issues on the ground, and that is why we're going to set up what is set up and make and produce the fourth administration. But some months have passed now, we've not seen from the fourth administration to even unite Biafra. I'm not saying that they should collapse Biafra, because I've heard when I did my broadcast on Kanunta and Master Prophet, Kanunta Kanu has made speech like collapsing the Biafran government. He didn't even put in consideration on what those people are doing. Most of those people, since we have tried in homeland, and it seems like the resistance over there has been too much. But however, our request for them to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for us to drop out, they never did. They never freed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The only thing they did was to prolong his incarceration. And they did that because Simon was not letting them to do what they had in mind. They had in mind to kill. They wanted to want life for it. But because of Simon, they could not do. When they passed a judgment, they made it that what they wanted is to unalive him. What the Biafrans were doing, they couldn't do that. But the same Biafran people started speaking the language of Nigeria, speaking acts against Biafra, their actions, keeping Biafrans in prison. That was what themselves supposed to do for themselves. And Nigerians were not hiding anything they were doing. They were saying that they were going to use people to Igbo land or to unalive Igbo people. And they did it. People, many Biafrans and some ESs in prison today, including ones that died. And some have people who claim to be in the freedom fighter. And these people, they have not gone, they are still out there. Someone is in prison for what he did not do. So, when we talk about group, David, the way you explain it now is very clear to me. So that someone complete government, and you must know that Oyedu is in support of it as of today.
Yes.
As I talk to you. And that is not just a group. In fact, the Biafran government, however Nigeria has attacked it with different groups, I've never been surprised with groups. That's why it is shaping. What I try to do is to ensure that setup that we set up, the inner doesn't get to collapse. Because the fight we are fighting as a righteous fight, spiritual, truth keep coming out over time. And when that time comes, they will realize that what the Biafran government has the platform to secure Biafra. The only reason why the Biafran government cries for unity and try to work hard on it is because of when we are united, our resources will be united to, achieve all our projects and our programs.
Yes.
Because social media is not going to bring
at all. No.
Our making friends, meeting people, meeting government will help us to, it will reduce the complexity and it will make many things to be clear. We may even gain support from some of these people while we keep moving forward. And my last question, David, we are supposed to have a
I can't hear you clearly. I think you're... Please check your network. I can't hear you from there. Your last question, I can't get it.
Okay, then let me go out and come back.
Okay. So on the issue that my brother was talking about, I think he has a point there. You know, many of us, we are equally worried the way he's worried, but the difference is that so many of us, we treat issues differently. Every one of us treat issues differently. The unification of Biafra is very important. And just as I said, why I use that issue of mushroom group, there is no group is more superior than the others. And my joy is that Mazen Nandekan recognizes every group. Mazen Nandekan, it is we that are the followers that are creating confusions today that is making the unification somehow a little bit difficult. I can remember when Mazen Simon Ekpa was doing everything possible to make sure that Biafra, the legacy of Mazen Nandekan stands. Mazen Nandekan was full much aware of that effort, and he did everything he can to see that legacy of Mazen Nandekan stands. Even at that time, it was so difficult. While he was working, some were busy castigating him and saying nothing. But at a point in time, he get to a point in time when he becomes a little bit settled and he opens his hand up. He's brought that olive branch for every group. He was reaching out to other groups. Even the time of conference and the time of conference mainly, he gave an open invitation for everybody, every Biafran to attend. So for now, I know it is good we talk about this issue. Actually, just like my brother is showing concern about the reaching out of the new DOS to other groups. It is important. It is important. Reaching out is important because it is very important reaching out to them. But let us not judge. It is not too late. It is not too late. It's just the new establishment of the new DOS was just made some few, either a month or a month plus now. So for me, I don't see that it is too early, and I don't say it is too late. Maybe they still have some other, because a lot of things have damaged, a lot of things were destroyed. They will still have a lot of things in their hand, but I know it's going to get a time where we will begin to reach out, because just like more especially the brigade that was created under Mazi Simon Ekpa and Joko, and all the effort that was made during that time, and everything that was achieved, every achievement of Mazi Simon Ekpa, Mazi Nandekan is very much aware. Is very much aware. And why it was very easy for Mazi Simon Ekpa is that Mazi Simon Ekpa at that time had a representative to Mazi Nandekan. Every information, he makes sure it gets to Mazi Nandekan. Even when he was in the DSS, Mazi Simon Ekpa was making sure that the information gets to him in one way or the other. So another thing that should be done is that every Biafran group should make sure they are available. Just like the AVID, the Rising Sun, and the ambassadors of self-determination, every one of them is appropriately represented. They are adequately represented in the presence of Mazi Nandekan, not just from distance. So I also encourage every group, whichever group you are, whether USB, whether Briki, whatever, if you are genuine on your own side, make sure that you reach out to Mazi Nandekan and have a proper representation. As for recognition, a time is going to come. I believe that time is going to come when every one of us will come together under one umbrella and speak the way we are supposed to speak. That time is coming. I am not accusing anybody as of now. I'm not saying that anybody is not doing what he or she is supposed to do now. But it's good that when we have an observation, that my brother made an observation that the new DOS have to reach out. They have to reach out. It is something, once Biafrans are saying that's a concern, I believe they are hearing us. Those who are hearing, they should reach out to other groups. Other groups, they should reach out. Once you begin to reach out, don't always wait for them to come. You can reach out. Look for the heads of those groups. Talk to them. Reach out and see where everyone can be able to meet. See where everybody can be able to meet and begin to pursue. It is not necessarily collapsing whatever they're doing and joining. No. Let that be a united front. Let that be a united front that everyone should follow, so that we can be able to limit this attacking of each other. Even as at now, it has reduced. What we are mostly seeing now is the attack that these idiots are doing against Mazi Nandekan, and everybody is focusing on those criminals, those sack DOS. Every genuine Biafra is focusing on them to make sure we stamp them down. That is a very good move we're making. But at the same time, a time will come when we have that single umbrella, a point where every one of us we meet, have a common ground to meet. I believe it's going to reach that. I believe that you're going to get to that. And this new HOD, if he's not looking at that, should, as a matter of seriousness, begin to look at that direction. I know he has a lot to do now, a lot of things in his hand, but I also believe that to get to that point when he will reach out to all the heads of all the groups and make sure that it's that common ground of meeting points. They can still do one or two things. Look at what every group have achieved, where they can be used, and every group put it together and now carry on this very force. There was a program that my sister Maneba did, and he talked about every group having a significant effect on this struggle. There are something that the IPOB themselves can do better. There is something that other groups can do better. There is something everyone can do. Look at today. In the United States, there are people today that are pushing for the case of Mazen Nandekano. And we are seeing Avid, the rising sun, and Ambassador for Self-Determination, active on that direction. Look at in Israel. In Israel is a single person, that our sister Rachel, single-handedly is doing what she's doing. With the name IPOB, doing extraordinary things. Likewise in other places. So if you know that you can do, just do it. And at the point in time, you are going to be reached out. We will put all this effort together. And then we become unstoppable. Don't be discouraged. For me, let us not be waiting for praises or accolade from anybody. If you know what you can do, continue to do it. That time is going to come when we are going to have a united front to push forward, because there is no way you can throw away every effort that others have made. No. If you can't tell, every group has something they have contributed. The only thing I have problem with is that when you limit your head to only your group and you focus on attacking other people, when people do something, if you don't understand what they have done, or you don't like what they have done, or you don't understand it, or you don't want to participate, just keep silent and ignore it. Pretend you didn't see it. Don't come on news. Don't come on media and begin to attack another group on what they are doing, even though you don't understand it or you don't like it. As long as they said it that what they are doing is to promote Biafra, don't come online and begin to attack them. If you do not understand, reach out to them and ask them why they are doing what they are doing. They will explain to you. Maybe after explanation, you will understand better. So I take offense when I see people, when you talk about it, because just like the case of my sister Moneba, that is coming for hearing on the 5th, the case of my sister Moneba, there are some people today, they don't like the issue when you talk about protests. They don't promote it, they don't talk about it, simply because they are not the one that initiated it. When they want to talk about it, they just talk about it as if it's not something that is important. They are not going to lay emphasis on how important it is and encourage their people fully to do, simply because they're not involved. So when I see such a thing, it irritates me. That is why I use that term, mushroom group. Because you're in a very little place, you decide to limit yourself within a particular environment. You don't have to limit yourself as a Biafra. Don't limit yourself. Keep yourself open to the struggle. Keep yourself open. Reach out. Make your contributions. Anywhere that you see that something is being done to promote Biafra, make your contribution there. Don't limit yourself and cage yourself to a very particular group that there is only this one that is going to bring Biafra. Without this will not happen. No. It doesn't work that way. That is why Mazen Nandekano doesn't limit himself. Mazen Nandekano, keep hand open. Once you bring an idea to Mazen Nandekano and your group is for self-determination, you bring your idea, he will encourage it, he will embrace it. He's not going to tell you, shut down your group, come and join me before I listen to you. No, he's going to listen to you and encourage whatever you are doing. And that is how it's supposed to be. We are talking about protests on the 4th. 4 days more. This is something that even IPOB media warriors are promoting it. And encouraging members of IPOB. That is the right way to go. But some people, They talk about it sluggishly as if it's not important. You talk about the legal representation of Master Samaneka, proper and adequate legal representation. Some people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to look into it simply because they are not the one in charge. They're not the one in charge. They believe that when they support it now, they promote that group and they will become irrelevant. No, it doesn't make you relevant. You still have your own area where you're doing. If you are on defense, don't condemn other ones to promote your own. Focus on that your own and speak about that your defense. If you are the one, you in one way or the other, you are in defense. Focus on your defense. Those who want to support defense will come there and support you. Those who want to support the legal activities will support the legal. Those who are supporting one thing or the other, regardless the group you belong, you support. It is all about Biafra, not about groups. I take offense when I see people limit the issue discussion about, make it about groups. No. It doesn't go down well with me. It doesn't go down well with me. And I pray that by the grace of Chukwu Okike, we will continue to do things based on our collective interest, based on unity of purpose. The reason for which we gather in all the groups we gather is Biafra, self-determination. That is why we gather. So why would you limit yourself? Why would you limit yourself? Why would you limit yourself? Keep your hands open and embrace everybody. Any place you hear a message, genuine message, you know genuine message when you see one. I don't believe in personal gratification. I don't believe in building strong men and strong women. I believe in building institutions of Biafra. That is why in my program, I don't promote anybody. I don't promote any group. I only speak about Biafra. And the only personalities that is special to me is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Samuel, because they have proven what they're made of. They have paid the ultimate sacrifice. They are putting their life on the line. So is it not something to ignore? What they are doing today, so many of us cannot do. What Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going through today, I'm not sure I can go through it. What Mazi Samuel is going through, I'm not sure I can go through it. So why wouldn't I appreciate it? These are people that have proven, tested, and trusted. So when I come here, I speak about their issue. I speak about their issue with utmost respect and honor. Apart from that, no other person. That does not mean other people are not doing something. Other people have what they are doing. And when we see what you are doing, I will equally promote that. I will equally talk about it. But until then, the only people that stands out today that are the face of this struggle is the supreme leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and our Prime Minister, Mazi Samaneka. And we will try everything humanly possible to see that we continue to do what we have to do to promote them. I'm still waiting for my brother, University. If you are still there, University, I don't know why you cannot be able to come back again, or maybe you have an issue. I know sometimes you are equally joining from work. Sometimes you're joining from work. My brother, University, if you are still there, you can log in back and let me get that your second question, because it is important. I could not get your second question. I couldn't get it. So try and log back in. Let me get that second question. It is important. It is important. That is part of the things we do here, communicating with each other, understanding each other's perspectives, because if you don't ask questions, you will not understand. Sometimes that is why you see people, they go to platform, they misinterpret people. You might say something, people go and twist it to suit their own idea, to create different kinds of ideology, to create different kinds of topics. And before you know it, people will begin to hate you because of something you didn't say. People can twist words and twist. That is why it is, when you see things you don't understand, ask questions. Reach out to everybody, regardless of the group they belong. Once you see somebody speaking on a platform and there is a topic that caught your attention, go there and speak. Go there and speak. Make your own contribution and say it the way it is. You don't need to promote or praise anybody. This is about you and I. It is about our unborn generation. It is about our future. So it all depends. It's about our future. It is not about somebody. Even as we talk about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Samuel, these are people that are putting their life on the line, not because of themselves, because of you and I. If they are free today, you and I are free. If they are free, you and I are free. So it is very important, wherever you see the issue of Biafra, speak about it responsibly, respectfully. There are some people that when they come to my program, regardless whatever I am saying, they will just come to attack. There are people that are like that. When you come for a platform where program is here, you don't even look at the topic. Even when the topic is about Biafra, it is not about your group, it is not about you, it is not about the people you love. But yet, once you come to the platform, the next message you're going to send is a distraction or insult. Will that give you Biafra? Will that make a difference? Will that make me to change my mind and begin to speak differently? Will that make me to join your group? No, it's not going to change anything. You are only constituting nuisance. You are only bringing down the reputation of Biafra. You are only showing the world that we are not disciplined. You must be disciplined. Even when you are disagree with what I say, it doesn't have to result to hostility or insult. No. You are entitled. You must not agree with everything I say. You have the right to disagree. The only thing you can do that if you have a superior argument, when you disagree, you come up here and we sort it out. Sorting it out, we're not going to fight or insult each other. The Biafrans are there to judge. And when they look at us on our argument, they will now choose what to believe. Our own duty online here is to broaden arguments, to expand discussions so that people can be able to take a critical decisions and take responsibility for their decisions. That is why we are here. Nigeria is not a place for you and I. You and I know. And the earlier we begin to prepare to move out, the better. Nigerian diversity is one of its greatest problems. People say diversity is strength, but the diversity in Nigeria is a destructive diversity, and it is in no way strength. Nigerian diversity is not strength in any way. A diversity where some people prefer that except you have their religion, you're not supposed to be alive. How can that be strength? A diversity where some people believe that they love animal more than human being, that they can take the life of thousands of people because of one single cow. What sort of diversity is that? A situation where people prefer animal than human being. Who wants to be part of such diversity? Who wants to be part of it? How can that be strength? How can such diversity be strength? Where we don't have anything in common. We don't have the same language. We don't speak the same way. We don't have the same religion. We don't have the same lifestyle. How can that be strength? In this where there is this kind of destructive diversity, they have gone their separate ways and they are peaceful. We have seen countries of the world break up into value system. In any country where the value system is not one, there is no way there will be peace. It is impossible. It is undoable. You can continue to pretend diversity is strength. It is not strength when it comes to Nigeria. The destructive diversity you have in Nigeria can never and will never be strength. Has never been strength. The diversity in Nigeria presents challenges that requires effort to build trust and mutual respect. But there is no plan for such in Nigeria to treat those challenges. And the challenges of diversity in Nigeria is irredeemable, is incurable. The only thing that can cure the diversity trouble in Nigeria is separation, peaceful separation through referendum. Peaceful separation through referendum. We can still be good neighbors. We can still intermarry. We can still do business. We can still be friends. We can still do so many things together. Separation is not war. Separation is not hatred. Even in the Bible, at a point in time, there was a man, was it Noah or whoever, who told his brother that his neighbor that the time has come that their herdsmen will be fighting each other. Instead of allowing them to fight, take this side and go your separate ways, I go my separate ways, so that we can maintain peace among ourselves. Even he gave his in-law the first to choose faith before I choose. That story is in the Bible. Some of you who are Christians, who knows about it. The story is in the Bible. So in the Bible, where a man told a brother that a time has come because we have grown so big, our herdsmen will be fighting each other. There will be no peace. The only thing that can bring peace, eternal peace for us, is separation. And they separated. And from the moment they separated, peace returned. So why don't you take that example? Why don't you take that example and conduct a peaceful referendum? Let people go their separate ways, live peacefully as neighbors, protect themselves, and still do business together. Why is it difficult to do? Constructive dialogue, equal citizenship, respect for rights of all communities are frequently identified as important elements for national stability. But these things are not in Nigeria. They're not in Nigeria. In Nigeria, even the government does not want to engage in any dialogue. The government does not want to engage in any equality of citizenship. The government itself are the ones that are making some people unequal to others. The government itself is making sure that there is no dialogue. Look at the Biafran people for how many years? Self-determination approved by international law, by African peoples and human rights law. Even in Nigerian law, self-determination is legal, it's lawful. But yet, they don't want to dialogue or talk about it. Instead, they attack it with all manner of power and take innocent life. In Nigeria, there is no equal citizenship. You saw just recently, a policeman was telling a guy that if you are an Igbo man, I will detain you. This is just one out of many. And many people have been detained and killed simply because they are from a certain tribe. Simply because they are from a certain tribe. You'll be denied certain position because you're an Igbo man. There are some positions you cannot hold in Nigeria. Because you're a certain tribe, there are some positions you cannot occupy. And this thing is a written code in that Nigeria. So how can such a country survive? There is no respect for the rights of all the communities. No respect for rights of people. No respect for rights of people. But these are things that are supposed to have, in order to have a national stability, these things are supposed to be there. But these things are not there, and there is no plan to put them in place. No dialogue, no equal citizenship, no respect for human rights. How can a country survive in such a situation? How can a country function in such direction? It's impossible. It's impossible. And many are asking, what is the possible way forward? Possible way forward for us Biafrans, everyone knows. I have said it again and again. I sing about it, I talk about it. Referendum is the only way to go. Public discussion about Nigerian future often include proposals, such as people are proposing. Now I'm going to read out the proposal people are presenting as a way forward. Strengthening the rule of law. You know Nigeria can never do that. Because if they do, half of the people that is in charge are criminals. Half of the people, almost all the people that are in charge of the government of Nigeria are criminals. So they cannot strengthen the rule of law. If they strengthen the rule of law, they will be in jail. But this is what people are proposing, even when they know it's impossible. How can you expect a drug baron to strengthen the rule of law? How can you expect the convicted criminal to allow the rule of law to be strengthened? People that have cases in the EFCC to allow the rule of law to be strengthened. How can you allow that? Ensuring equal treatment before the law. How can they allow equal treatment before the law? They can't allow it because these people want to lord themselves over you and I. Promoting transparency in governance. There can never be transparency in governance. But these are options that people are given, even though they know it is not possible. It can't be done in Nigeria. It can never, ever be done. Something as simple as improving security. For many years now, you have seen insecurity from Buhari today to Tinubu, and it's getting worse. Tomorrow, if you get a new president, it's going to be worse than it is. There is no even plan, no plan whatsoever. Every day, security vote, billions, and it's still getting worse. The situation continues to be worse and worse. Expanding economic opportunity. How can you expand economic opportunity when there is insecurity everywhere? These are suggestions people are making. Expanding economic opportunity. How can you expand economic opportunity when there is insecurity the other day? Supporting dialogue among communities. You can't support dialogue among communities because already you have made some people second-class citizens and you made some other people first-class citizens. You have made even the person that is leading the country is a bigot. So how can you ever do that? People will always fall back to their tribe. They always prefer their tribe. Just like when they come about their president, you only see Yoruba president, Hausa president, Fulani president, Igbo president, Ijaw president. It is about tribes. You don't see them act, you don't see them talk about Nigerian president. It's only verbal. But in their actions, every election, you will see that ethnic something. Even though supporting P2B today, they support him because he's an Igbo man. They support him because he's an Igbo man. Many are supporting him because he's an Igbo man. Even those who are not Igbo, they support him because maybe they want to use him to come in so that we can stop talking about the issue of freedom of Biafra. In your dreams. In your dreams. Some are supporting P2B just to stop the Biafran cause. Considering constitutional reform where appropriate. Consider reform. Reform to what? Nigeria don't even have a constitution, let alone having the one to reform. Nigeria don't have a constitution. The right thing should be writing a constitution, but they are not ready. Because when they do write a constitution, they know that they cannot have the kind of hand they have today to steal as they are stealing. Protecting the rights guaranteed by the constitution. Even with the fake constitution that they have, yet they don't respect it. They do not respect it. That is how bad it is. People disagree on solution. In everything I've read out this thing, they are not possible in Nigeria. It doesn't matter how you try. You can continue to pretend these things are not possible. They are not obtainable. And we know people disagree on which solution are best. There is disagreement on which solution are best. But peaceful engagement and respect for democratic and legal process remain essential. We agree. And that is why Mazen Nandi Ukukan has always been open for dialogue. Mazen Simon Ekpa has always been open for dialogue. Till tomorrow. But Nigeria is not willing to speak to Biafrans. Instead, they speak to terrorists. Instead, they reintegrate terrorists. Instead, they pay ransom to the terrorists. Instead, they go into contract with terrorists. Instead, they go into truce with terrorists. But discussing with the agitators that have a genuine concern, never ever. How do you make a country in such a way? That is why the ultimate and the only solution remains the disintegration of the contraction of Nigeria, a peaceful referendum for people to go their separate ways. Until you do that, everything that is being done is a joke, taken too far. The Biafra question is not only about history. It is also about how Nigerians understand identity, governance, justice, security, and the future of the country. Different citizens hold sincerely different opinion about these issues. That is true. Meaningful progress depends on informed discussion, respect for human dignity, adherence to the rule of law, and peaceful civic engagement. That is all we are pushing and calling for in Nigeria. But unfortunately, those who are running the affairs in Nigeria are not willing to listen or engage. My fellow Biafrans, wherever you are and you join this program, thank you for joining today's education live stream. I encourage you, everyone, to continue learning from reliable history source, listen respectfully to different perspectives, and contribute to discussion in a constructive and peaceful manners, not by insulting, not by attacking, but in a corrective and peaceful manner. Let us continue to engage, even with those that disagree with us. If you found this discussion informative, consider sharing your thoughts respectfully in the comment section and exploring additional historical resources to deepen your understanding of this important chapter in Nigerian history. We will continue to speak, regardless how difficult it is, regardless how they try to bring our morale down, regardless the attack that is coming to us from east, west, north, and south. We will continue to make our voice heard. My fellow Biafrans, I appreciate every one of you that have been with me on this program today. I thank you for being part of the program. My brother, University, I can't see you again. I think maybe network problem on one issue or the other. Hopefully, I got to hear from you. We can be able to reach out, or you can send me a DM. Then let me know what your questions are, and I can be able to address that. So I appreciate everyone that is watching. Those that have watched from TikTok, those that watch from Facebook, those that watch from YouTube, those that are watching from other social media networks. I appreciate every one of you. Continue to share this video to all platforms. Remember, sharing and liking is very important in this platform today because the attack we are getting is huge. It's huge. They are trying everything they can to bring our platform down. But we never allow them. The more they try, the more they fail. The only thing they do is to shadow ban our platform and make sure that it's not visible. Many people have been calling me that they're not getting notification, they are not seeing the program. So the only way you can help me out is